But it's time now for Once Upon a Time in Rugby League. Now, tonight, given the DCE situation around Origin, we decided to do, bombshell selections as far as State of Origin is concerned. I've got a couple here. First one was 1982 for New South Wales, and a winger called Phil Duke, who was playing for the Moree Boomerangs. Incidentally, he's the uncle of our Jake Duke. And Phil had a good game had a good season with the Boomerangs, and had a great game in the City versus Country, and he got picked for New South Wales. Scored a try, had a solid performance. He dropped the ball in the end goal once and passed from Siggy, but it was unfairly, probably tainted for that. But he was a good player, mate. Coming out of that famous club, Moree Boomerangs, with people like Ewan McGrady and the McGrady family did over the years. And the other one, in 1984, a fella called Rex Wright. Now, Rex Wright played for North Newcastle in the local competition. Again, got picked for country seconds, had a blinder, and picked him for State of Origin. Both Phil and Rex only played one State of Origin game. Unfortunately, they were beaten in those games. But you don't see that anymore, do you? Getting picked out of a bush rugby league side and playing State of Origin. Kev?
But, mate, Origin's tough, isn't it? Well, mine is a crowd favourite. 2001, series locked at 1-1. We need a halfback. The Queenslanders need a halfback. Where do we go to? We go to England and make a phone call to Alan Langer, and Alfie comes back. He said it's the most nervous he's been for any game that he's ever played. So it was all hush-hush as well coming back. No one knew about it except for Wayne Bennett. Benny Ikin picked him up from the airport, and then he had a fabulous game that night, Alf. I think he scored a couple of tries and was in everything good that Queensland did. It was just a remarkable 35 years of age too he was. So there's Wayne and Alfie, post-game celebrating. He stayed a couple of days, had a couple of beers with Tommy Rodonigas at the Brecky Creek Hotel. Survived that as well, which is amazing. And then flew back to England, played for Warrington the following Friday. He got beaten 52-0.
Wow. Unbelievable. There you go. I remember, because we were over there, I was playing at Wigan, you were at Warrington. Yep. Alf was at Warrington, Andrew G, we had Pearl. And I remember it was a barbecue, and Alf was there. Alf had quite a few beers. And then he went home. And then I got a call the next morning by Steve Renoff, and he goes, mate, you wouldn't believe what's happened overnight. What? He goes, mate, Wayne's called Alf. He's on a plane to Australia. Yeah, it was all hush-hush secret. Nobody knew except for Wayne and Ben Ikin, who picked him up from the airport. Now, did you give Cameron Munster his debut? I did. That was the other one that I particularly liked, because Cameron was... this was in 2017. His debut, all week at training, he was terrible. He was throwing balls over the sideline, forward passes, kicking balls out on the full. And I ended up grabbing Cameron Smith, who was the captain. I said, Cameron, what's the go with the other Cameron? He said, don't worry about him, he'll be right come the game. And sure enough, he was brilliant in his debut. One of those guys that he just didn't get flustered about anything. A lot of nerves on game day, but not for Cameron. Well, he might have been nervous, but he didn't show it. He went out and played the house down. That's what he's got to do next Wednesday, and you blokes will be in trouble. That was man of the match. Man
of the match he was, yeah. And it's true. There's all the Queenslanders here.
And that's what you were saying. That's right. Cooper Cronk said... He said it's the worst week of training he's ever seen from anybody. Yeah. And the blokes outside of the Storm system said, mate, we've got a problem here. Yeah. He said, no, he'll turn it on.
Yeah, but he didn't... he wasn't flustered by it either. I mean, he's a bit disappointed the way he trained, but the way he played was really special, and we need that from him again next Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm 2001 as well, but game 1, 2001. Queensland side, a lot of debutants, a bit of a youngish side, sprinkled with some very experienced players. But I could have picked a number of players out of this, but I picked Johnny Buttigieg out of this side. He was a round, and he was a bigger, heavier set front rower from the Cowboys, and it was kind of a little bit unexpected because he was playing some outstanding football at the Cowboys at the time. But kind of no one really thought he was going to be playing Origin, but he surprised everyone, had an absolute blinder in that game.
You know why we changed the team for that game, that series from the year before, Brian, don't you?
Yeah, the hand grenade.
It was a hand grenade. Yeah. Because that was a side, it was full of a young player, Carl Webb.
Well, you're saying that...
Johnny Doyle,
Daniel Wagon.
Gordon was the captain of the great Gordon Tellis, captain of that side. So.
From memory, I remember... in that game, because New South Wales were dramatic favourites, and given the fact all those young blokes were picked, I think Queensland scored off the first set.
Yeah, Lottie Takiri, yeah. For Darren Lockyer.
It's a great series.
Line break. That was the last game at Suncorp too before they refurbed it. So plenty of history in that one. Was that your first game?
First game that series and the last one that series. So another one, moving on, 2012, Jamie Buhrer. And not for the fact, he was a bit of a bolter for me, but for me, the poor bugger, 7 minutes. 7 minutes of Origin footy. And I thought, you know, to be picked to play Origin footy and only get 7 minutes, I think it's almost the least amount compared to Aaron Raper, who didn't actually get on the field for New South Wales 1 year. So, yeah, Jamie Buhrer in 2012.
I've gone to Queenslander. It started the dynasty, as you like to call it. 2006, Adam Mogg. Moggy played 2 games. I used to love watching Moggy play. So he played 2 Origin games. He scored 3 tries. This is his first try here. Yeah, so it was a bit of a left field selection. He was playing for the Raiders. Started his career at the Eels, actually. Played the Eels there early, and then went to the Raiders. And only played in that 1 series, but he did everything right. Do you remember this, Kevin?
I do remember that.
Moggy?
That was the...
This was a great try here. This is a JT special over here. And
yeah, well, Inglis and Hodges were both injured for a couple of those games, particularly Game 3. That's Game 3 down there in Melbourne. And that's when Lockie swooped on the wayward pass from dummy
that's where it all started.
Yeah,
That's where it all started. Yeah, it goes.
Who threw from dummy half? Brett Hodgson?
Hodgson was.
Yeah, Hodjo threw it. Yeah, I knew who it was. I just want to mention his name,
Still
Hodjo.
recovering from Gordon's.
Oh, yeah.
God, he got Gordoned. Hey, over the years, like Blake's, Kevin, sides you played against, like, because Queensland have got that great ability to recognise a player and just you know, pull a surprise selection, and they just always perform. Is there anyone that really stands out for you, Kev, who you played alongside?
In my career, playing with Steve Renouf, I thought was a guy that I love playing with at in any level, but Origin level, never really reached. Like he sort of, I don't know. It was tough for him, but he scored some great tries at Origin level, and he's a favourite of mine for sure. And the other one, bloke that used to sit on this couch, was Gordy, big Gordy. Yeah. Love playing with Gordy at Origin time.
Because it's funny,
you're always safe.
You blokes, like over the years, I think sometimes over the years, New South Wales have been obsessed with size, you know, and talent. Yeah. Where you blokes like Billy Moore, Gary Larson, things like that. And I reckon that's something that we've done very well the last couple of series. The best example, I reckon, is Mitch Barnett. And, I mean, he's not going to be here in Game 2. That's going to leave a big hole. But that sort of player who just does whatever it takes.
Yeah, gets through the work. I mean, we all know that Origin's not one on talent. It's one on effort. So we need all of our 17 boys to get the effort in there. We've got enough class there to score points, you know, with Ponga and Munster and Deard and these sort of guys. We just need to get the effort area up, and I'm sure that's what Billy's been talking about all week. And then we'll come to Sydney and be 1-1, boys. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Hostile crowd here, lads.
No, they're India.
Don't take the bait, guys. Okay.